Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we're going to go into both boss battles because they are run essentially the same, and there's not a lot of team variety because it's not nuking damage and your damage supports. It's how much healing and HP you got, which is really only limited to one team here at this point. So I'm not doing two separate videos. This will have both boss battle 1 and 2 because the teams are pretty much the same. Like, you take one team from boss battle 1, it's going to work for boss battle 2, and so forth. They both have very high score multipliers for remaining HP because it wants you to have the Hinata continuous heal on. The starting hands do change. First stage is 2 oranges, second stage is 1 orange and 1 blue, so you need a little bit of different orb changing for that. The boss battle 2 is single target versus Veldora. He does not hit you nearly as much, so you don't get as many stacks of Reckoning as you would in boss battle 2, or 1, where they have 3 enemies that are hitting you and instant damage and AoE ults and all that. And apart from that, they really don't want you to damage. They want you to heal. They want a butt ton of Reckoning. And, yeah, team variation. Not really a thing here today, so I apologize in advance. I do have varying levels of summonable units in these videos, so there will be 4 teams, and I'll list them out right now. One of them is the full meta. One of them is maybe you got lucky and you have Masayuki at least, and that's it. And then you build a team around that. And then the next one is pretty much just free-to-play Carrion and a bunch of free-to-play units-ish. And then the final one is Vengeance, which, honestly, I'm not even going to cover that much because it's awful. So, yeah. Let's jump in. Okay, so we're going to run the full meta team here. Masayuki. Rain is here because she's got that 3-turn green buff. She's a water character, so she can get her HP raised by Frey. And then Hinata, Yuki, and Shizu. There's very little variation to this team. It's 8 turns of you clicking the buttons a whole butt ton of times. If you remember Divine General, it's going to be exactly like that. So turn 1, we don't have enough points to use the Rain skill, so we're just going to orb change with Yuki and use his skill. The charm we're running on Masayuki is the AoE heal charm, which gives us 6 stacks of Reckoning every single time we use them, and that is much more bang for your buck than anything else. We are running not the traditional support characters, and we should be running different ones, technically, if you're trying to maximize your HP, because that's going to be a very big contributing factor on how much your Reckoning does, is how much HP your units can have and heal up to. So maybe I should just take off the big 3 and just run all same type supports or something, all defensive, survivable characters. But otherwise, this is a very boring team, because all you do is you sit here and you get hit a lot. You do have to kind of micromanage who's getting hit the most. Hinata is going to be up front a lot, so she is most likely going to cap out on her stacks of Reckoning faster than the others, because Frey doesn't need to be up every turn. If you apply the heal to everybody, then you don't really need her everywhere. Damage and your nuking skill is not a factor here. They nerf a lot of your power at the end of this fight, which means that attempting to use Frey's 90-point skill is a waste of time. So even if you have Frey, and she has that big time 90-point damage skill, I'd rather just use a bunch of Reckoning skills over that, because that's going to give you a lot more damage output than defensive characters with an attack buff. So, we aren't stacking our attack or our ult damage or anything. It's just, why do we even have that skill on Frey? To give her some value outside of this meta in the future, I think is what the devs thought. But this is the full team. We are having to micromanage who has the healing field, who doesn't, who needs orb changes, who needs Reckoning stacks. Rain needs to have the HP field applied to her, so we need to bring her in at some point and try and get a few stacks on her and let her heal up a bit. Otherwise, I mean, if you've played the beatdown battle, you know what to do here. So I won't make you sit here for another 11 minutes, because this clip is 11 more minutes long. So, and we're going at 50% extra speed as well. So I'm just going to jump ahead. Let's go to the next turn. This is one turn prior to them taking damage with Reckoning, and we're still doing a whole ton of setup. Okay, so this turn, with 4 turns left, this is when Reckoning starts to actually make an impact. You can see Frey has 60 stacks, Hinata has 51, Yuki has 33. So we're getting up there. We're starting to get up there, orb changing and all that jazz. So the more we can get her, the better. And then Rain has the HP field applied to her, so she's got that extra gap in HP. We do have to let her heal, though, because if she doesn't have raised HP, then what's the point? So we do need to bring her in for at least 2 turns where she can get almost back up to full. She's not going to get the actual Hinata field, so she won't regen from hits, but she'll heal the 40% from Frey's actual skill itself, which is more impactful. So let's use Masayuki. Let's go ahead and swap these alts away. You pretty much never want to send an alt on this team. You only want to send green orbs so you can get maximum points and maximum protection gauge back. And yeah, that's about it. So let's just do that again. And then do we bring Rain in? No, we don't, because they're sending alts, and I don't want to put her in that line of fire. So let's just go ahead and do this. They'll hit us a lot. So there's a single, and there's an attack lower. Here's an AoE, and then Carrion is another single, and some follow-up orbs. And then, we'll see where we're starting to get capped out on. So Frey has 94 stacks now. And it caps at 99. Shizu only has 24. Hinata has 75. And we do 23 million damage across the board. And that's only the first turn of Reckoning. So we have a couple more turns that we need to actually do damage to them. So that's that. Let's move forward a bit to 2 turns left. 99 stacks for Hinata, 35 for Shizu, 70 for Yuki. Okay, I mean, we're looking better and better and better. We're up to 156 million total damage now because of Reckoning, and then it'll go even higher. We are kind of capped on Hinata right now, so any hit she takes doesn't really add to anything. Kind of unfortunate. Good thing they're not really hitting her all that much. And then we get 33 million damage right there. So 255 million damage now, with the final turn coming up. And here, I mean, you don't have to worry about getting gauge back because there's no turns after this. So you're free to send the alts here, as long as you also make sure that, 1, you don't use the Frey skill, and you instead put that 90 points towards 2 more Reckoning stacks, or 2 more skills that'll give you like 4 stacks. 2 stacks each skill, so 2, 4, 6, 12 stacks total. That'd be much more impactful than trying to put some 90-point skill in here, if not 3 skills. So let's just not worry about that. We'll send these alts because it is damage, and then we'll just continue to use more Reckoning skills. Yuki and Yuki and Yuki, and then we'll use Shizu here for funsy onesies, and then we'll send this alt and the follow-up orbs, and we'll see where we end at. So Yuki is at 88 stacks, Shizu 63, Frey and Hinata are both capped at 99. I don't think Rain has that many, or many stacks at all. And then, how much damage do we do after this? 35 million across the board. And in Japanese text, too, because someone forgot to code in the English. And that gives us a final score of 647, which I think is my highest right now. I just need to optimize their HP a bit, but that's the full meta team. It's very boring. It's a lot of work to watch nothing happen, but that's the full meta. Let's move down a peg. Okay, so maybe you got lucky on your tickets and you pulled Masayuki, and that's it. You didn't pull Hinata, you didn't pull for Frey or Yuki, you just have the new Protector Masayuki. What if that happens? Well, we can still build a reasonable-ish team out of it. So we're going to use the free-to-play Trya, Harmonizer Rimuru, because he's got an AoE heal and healing helps, and then Lumi, Orb Change and Healing, Divine General Diablo for the multi-use skill and the green buff, and then free-to-play Shizu, because she's really good for this team. And we're going to go into Boss Battle 2 this time, so we mix it up. Just, you can use the same exact team for Boss Battle 1. It'll run better because there's more enemies and you're getting hit more. But, if I'm combining both videos into one, we want to show both stages, here and there, right? But turn 1, you could either use Lumi's Orb Change or Trias. It doesn't really matter. You don't have Yuki, so you don't get any stacks of Reckoning from that. But let's bring in Diablo, and you can at least use his green buff to get more gauge. So we're not going to make back as many skill points here, but we will get more protection gauge. And with the traits, we should get access to Masayuki on turn 2. And then otherwise, it's going to run the exact same way. Masayuki just being a better protector than, Carrion, but you don't have the HP field from Hinata. You don't have Frey raising your HP cap super high and healing you. And you don't have Yuki giving you extra skill points and orb changing and reckoning stacks either. So while it's very unoptimized, I wanted to put an example team in here of you can still kind of make it work. And you can kind of get an okay score. Obviously, it's not going to match anything, and we're still running the AoE heal charm on Masayuki, so we can get those free stacks as well. But we brought 2 healers, and as long as we are very conscious about using them as often as possible, and keeping them relatively cheap, then you could get 3 heals off in a turn with the amount of points you're going to have. So that is going to add a lot of artificial stacks to our Reckoning skill, even though we don't have the HP field and all that. And also, since we are taking damage, it's going to hurt our score, and because we're not healing fully every turn, or almost every turn, our HP remaining score is going to take a dip, especially towards the end when we can't heal and he hits us, right? So that is going to be a huge factor, but let's build up some points again. We're up to 130. With Masayuki means we have 230 to pull from, and yeah, otherwise it's the exact same. It's just you get hit less, and since we don't have the HP healing field, actually getting hit less is good for us. But let's heal, and then that'll put the effect on them. We'll use Masayuki, and then we can heal again after we use the multi-skill from Diablo. And yeah, I don't know really what else to tell you. 19 stacks, 21 stacks. Let's bring Rimuru in, and we can use his heal again because we've got points for it. And then I guess we use Lumi heal. So I think we got 4 heals in on that turn. So if each heal is an AoE, that gives us 6, 12, 18, 24 stacks of Reckoning just from those skills. And then we'll do it again. And then we'll do it again. And again. So now we're at like 8 heals or something like that. Something wild. Because we have a lot of points from Masayuki, and having a double usage of him means that we can have potentially like, 350 skill points to pull from. And the reset, we got a lot of free stacks there from healing. So if you don't have Harmonize or Rimuru, there are other healers you can bring. Earth Trainee, Octagram Romarus. Earth Mirren has the passive heal over time, which can work as well. If you have her, you can do that. She doesn't need to be skill fused at all. It helps, but it doesn't have to be. So, there are other units you can bring for this team, but this is the first turn where Reckoning is going to come into play. We couldn't orb change fully, unfortunately, because we didn't have access to Masayuki, but let's see, 3.9-ish damage right there. It's certainly not the 20-something million that we were doing with the first team, but let's jump ahead, and we'll be on the turn 7 right now. And 57 stacks on Lumi and Shizu, 22, and it did like 5 million damage right there. And this is the final turn now. So, I mean, no, it's not 400 million damage in Reckoning. It's not even 100 million. It's not even 50 million. But it is the next best thing, because you're not going to get very much higher with this, because it's not physically possible to get more stacks of Reckoning without having Hinata and Yuki on this team. And it's not... I mean, you could bring, like, someone who raises your HP cap, but at the rate you're taking damage and you're not always constantly regenning, I don't really know how useful it is to bring an HP cap raiser like free-to-play Aaron or Maid Rimuru, because you're just going to drop below it, and you're very rarely going to be able to heal it back up, because he has to hit you first before the Reckoning takes effect. So he might just drop you back down to your base HP levels, and then it's a waste of a skill. But there is the only Masayuki as a summonable meta unit team, let's drop down another peg. Alright, so you didn't pull anybody for this meta. You also, for some reason, don't have any summonable healing characters or whatever. So we're going to run a fully free-to-play, quote-unquote, team, right? And the supports, let's not worry about that. But Carrion, free-to-play protector. His skill isn't maxed out yet. I'm like 2 days away from getting that done. Tsubasa, if you don't have her, bring some other orb-changing character. I hope to God you have some other green orb changer that's not free-to-play and put in this slot. Misery is a free-to-play healer. She's single target, but hey, something's better than nothing. Isis and Sufia you can get from the Flashback Bazaar shop. They're not locked between metas, so you can get at least those 3 characters, and then Shizu is the free character for this month. So this is, bare minimum, I have Reckoning. Let's try it out. But apart from that, it's not really going to do much. In fact, hold on, let me just change the speed on this one, and we'll just jump into the turn. So, Sufia, or Erin if you want to bring her, either way. Erin is Earth, though, so she's type disadvantage. That's why we brought Sufia. But turn 1, we'll use her orb change, and we don't have the 0-cost green buffing skill at all, so what you see is what you get. We'll be able to use the Isis skill next turn, and that'll last for 3 turns. But the only way we're getting Reckoning at this point is from the Shizu skills, a sometimes occasional heal from Misery, and then the AoE heal charm that I have on Carrion. And if you don't have the AoE heal charm, you're going to have even less stacks. And that'll be consistent across all the teams, right? It's the best charm for this team, but if you don't have it built up, or at all, because you maybe just started and you don't have charms in general, then, yeah, I'm sorry, my friend. It's going to be a rough ride for you. Maybe just do one run and you go do something else with your day, because it's not going to be very entertaining for you, or fun at all, to do this with a suboptimal team with no charm effects. And I don't really envy someone who has to actually legitimately use this version of the team. Hopefully you have something better. I didn't do a team with Hinata specifically because she makes it a bit too right? Like, if you have Hinata, you should already know what Hinata does, and you should be able to build a team around her. Even if you don't have Masayuki, you're using Carrion probably, and at that point, like, you should be fine. So I didn't feel like doing it with just Hinata. Maybe you only pulled Hinata though. Well, then put her on the team that we did prior to this one with, put her on this team, but swap out Misery or something, and it'll work. Probably, it's going to work better than what I'm showing you currently, by all means, but yeah, we're not going to have a lot of stacks. 6, 2, 8. We're not regenning every turn. We don't have AoE heals on battle skills. We have a single target heal in Misery. So let's cut forward a turn, and let's see how much damage we actually end up doing after this fight. We're going to skip ahead because at this point, like, 1, please know how to run this team, and 2, I don't want to talk anymore. How much damage do we get off of this Reckoning after they're done hitting us? Thankfully, they don't hit us that hard. 1.69 million damage. I mean, it's okay. It's okay for a mostly full free-to-play team. So, yeah, that's certainly something that you can do. Let's jump ahead again to, okay, turn 7. That'll work. 2 stacks on Tsubasa, 14 on Misery, 20 and 20 on Shizu and Isis. And that's it's pretty average of what you're going to get if you're running this team with nothing else available to you. So, preferably you're not running this. Preferably you at least, maybe, if you just started this month, hopefully you have Masayuki and Hinata, and you build a team around that. But, yeah, 16.6, this is the last turn. We don't need to worry about gauges. We just need to use 2 Shizu skills. We don't even have access to Carrion for his AoE heals, so as long as we do this, we're fine. And then, because there's no point in healing with Misery, because you have to have the field up first from Carrion for that to count. And then our final hits do how much damage? 1.9 million. So just shy of 2, and that puts us at 22.5 million damage overall. and that is not great. 80k is your final score. Not awesome, but it is a full free-to-play team. So, yeah, good luck. Okay, as a consolation prize, we're going to use the Vengeance team. Vengeance is the Reckoning team, but from a year and a half ago, over that amount of time, and it's sadly just way overpowered now at this point. I'm not even. This is the team: Vengeance, Velzar, Diablo, Trya, Yom, Raphael, Sufia, Orb Changer, Vengeance, Vengeance, Orb Changer, and then the green buff and the multi-use skills. So we could use Vengeance multiple times. If you have to run this team, it's going to do actually worse than the other team, because we're going to end on turn 8. We're going to end this with 63 stacks, 69 stacks right here on Veldora. We're not even at 1 million damage yet. You're probably better off running Divine General in Boss Battle 2 than you are running the actual Vengeance team, because it does actual shit. Because, one, you're not going to hit that much. We end at 72 stacks and we break 1 million. But Veldora does not have a very high attack stat, which is what Vengeance stacks off of. Reckoning stacks off HP, Vengeance stacks off enemy attack, and if you have low attack, then your Vengeance doesn't do shit. And that's kind of how they got around Vengeance for a while. But it's a defensive-focused passive damage team, right? So there we go. There are 3.5 teams that you can use in both boss battles. There's 0 variation. The strategy remains the same. If you have used something else that is not this team and gotten an okay score, maybe higher than this goddamn 53,000, please, for the love of God, put it in the comments, because I don't want to do it. And I thank you in advance for putting your time and effort into it. But yeah, this Jubilee is pretty terrible. Shock surprise. But yeah, that's it for me. I don't have any other words. I'm done talking for today. Take it easy, and I'll see all you. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.